Okay, today I want to discuss the fact that I monetized my hobby and I didn't ruin it. This is a topic that I think about a lot and that I frequently want to have conversations about, but it's a tricky one. It's one that requires, I think, a lot of nuance. It's one that I think can really upset people and make people feel misunderstood. And so I do find it's a hard conversation to have, but I want to have it with you all today. I monetized my writing, I monetized my creative hobby, and I didn't ruin it. In fact, I deepened my connection to my creativity. I have a relationship with writing, with telling stories, with expressing myself through words that I've never had before. It has made it so much more expansive, so much more intimate, so much more, it's leveled me up. It's been so expansive. I'm a much better writer now because of the journey that I've been on in monetizing my creativity and my writing. I find that we get told as creatives, frequently by people who are successful creatives, not to monetize your hobby because it will ruin it. Because the pressure of monetizing it will tarnish it and it will ruin your relationship to your practice. And again, this is a really nuanced conversation. And I'm not saying that never happens. The pressure of making money can be really overwhelming. And that's why these creatives say this. But I think it is really damaging to just straight out put this blanket statement of don't monetize your hobbies, because I think it is preventing creatives, specifically artists, from making impact. I think this statement is keeping artists who want to live a creatively abundant life, making creative impact, making money from their art, it's keeping them small, it's keeping them afraid, and it's keeping them in line. And I can't help but think that it's like meant to, that I think big part of this story is meant to be keeping artists small. Don't break out from the system, stay in the jobs that you hate, stay in line, don't challenge the system that we participate in, and do not monetize your hobby. When in actual fact, it has never been more possible than now to monetize your creativity. We live in a world right now that has never been more made for creatives who want to break out and do their own thing and make money through their art. Now is the time. There's so much we're going to discuss today, and we're just going to go in like small little steps, but I kind of want to talk about my own journey with this. Elizabeth Gilbert is probably one of the big names here, who says this frequently: do not turn your hobbies into something that makes you money. And Liz, as she is for so many creatives, is like just one of those guiding lights in the creative community. And when I was working in a corporate fucking job in financial services, absolutely hating my life, when I was waitressing, again, just resenting every fucking flat white I made, when I was in, childcare, like whatever muggle job that I was trying to do, trying to be a responsible adult, this idea of don't monetize your hobby, you'll ruin your hobby, like kept coming up and making me feel like literal shit. And when I heard Liz say this, it literally just broke my heart. And I understand that not everyone's going to take it the way that I took it back then. But what I heard was, stay in the shitty jobs you hate, keep doing the work that doesn't mean anything for you. It's better for you to stay in these jobs that are just slowly destroying your soul than to dare to give this writing thing a shot. And what I always found extra painful is that these words were coming from a successful writer. And I've been told, it's not just Liz, I've been told by so many fucking successful creatives to not monetize your hobbies. And I want to unpack, I don't know whether we're going to be able to do it in this video, but I'm intrigued as to why the fuck we get so many successful creatives telling other creatives, don't monetize your hobbies, don't monetize your art, it will ruin it. Like, why are they standing from these pedestals and preaching down to the people who want to be like them to not give it a go? So anyway, I grew up doing a lot of work, lots of different jobs that all of them I just fucking hated. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to make art for a living. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to be the author of my own life. I didn't want to work for these companies. I didn't want to waitress. I didn't want to be a personal trainer. I didn't want to work, look after kids. I didn't fucking want to be in financial planning. I wanted to tell stories. And I kept hearing, don't do it. You'll ruin your relationship to writing. There'll be too much pressure. Hardly anyone makes it. You're going to break your relationship to writing. And I'm here to say, as now a fully professional writer, my relationship to my practice has never been better. And I'm not saying that this isn't a very challenging journey to go on. It is. And there are systems that we have to deal with every day that are not supporting artists who are wanting to go full time. Like, it is rough and it has been so hard. I have had a big journey with it. I'm not saying this is an easy choice to make, but I am saying it is a possible choice to make. And I want to support and encourage creatives who want to do this, whether it's full time, whether it's part time, whether it's just a little something on the side. I want to support you to do this because I've done it and I fucking love it. And not only has my relationship with writing become stronger, it's become better than it ever has before, but I'm now living a life, of financial abundance because of my writing. I'm feeling emotionally so happy. I'm feeling fulfilled. I feel in purpose because I chose to dare to chase what it is that I wanted. I chose to say, okay, well, I really want to write for a living. And I did it. Things that I'm not saying, and I feel like this is important because, again, I know this is a really hard conversation to have. I'm not saying that this is for everyone. It isn't. And deeply, unfortunately, it's not for everyone because so many people have been systemically put into a place where they literally can't do this because so much of their time is focusing on just surviving that they can't pull the energy aside to make these side hustles, to invest in their own creativity. And that is something I am desperate to change because there are creatives out there who have so much art to give. Like, they have creative projects that will change the world and that will change them and that will allow them delight and abundance and so much joy, and they cannot make them and they cannot focus on the art because of the world that they're living in, and it is fucked, and we need to be working towards change that. And it's not for everyone because a lot of people don't have the risk tolerance for it. A lot of people like the stability of perhaps a more regular income. Like, it isn't for everyone, but it might just be for you. And to say that it is something that you shouldn't do is ridiculous. I'm also not saying that art that isn't commodified isn't valuable. This comes up a lot when I say this. Oh, you're saying that only art that's monetized is valuable. Of course I'm not. I am here and I'm loving and holding artists of like all varieties. Whether you monetize your art, whether you don't, art has the power to change the world. It has the power to change your world, whether it comes at a price or it doesn't. Creativity in its essence, without intersecting with this capitalistic world, is so important. It gives us agency, it gives us power, and it is political and it is important and it impacts the world, again, whether you have it for sale or you don't. I'm not saying that we need to commodify our art in order for it to have importance. I'm also not saying that, we don't need to monetize all our hobbies, and we should feel free to play and to have, practices, creative practices that are just there for the fucking fun of it. We always need them. We don't need to commodify every single creative practice. And I think that's often what people come at me saying. And I'm like, obviously don't do that. Please don't do that. Like, have your playful time where you have no pressure. Like, I paint. You can see a shitty little painting in the background there. It's a blobby. It's not for you. I'm not going to sell that. It would not sell, but I'm also not going to sell it even if it would. It's for me, it's playful, and right now that's like my escape. We don't need to commodify all our hobbies, but we can sell our art. There are ways to do this. There are ways to become financially abundant creatives in today's world. And if that is something you want, then I really want you to know that that is something that you can work towards doing. And it's not necessarily, in fact, I'm going to argue that it's not going to ruin your relationship with your creative practice. I think that more than anything, more than commodifying your own art, your relationship to your art is what's going to, this sounds so obvious to say, but like, it's not the commodifying of your art that will change your relationship to it. It's your own narratives, your own stories, your own personal issues with creative shame that are going to challenge your relationship with your hobbies, with your creative practice. And so for me, I've struggled with writing and my practice with writing because I have a story that I have to work really hard at it for it to be a valid form of work. It's not the fact that I put a price on my art that made me have that issue with it. It's the fact that I have a story that I have to work hard in order to be valuable. And once I worked through that, and it took me fucking ages, but I feel like I'm on the other side of it and I'm understanding that my worth is beyond my productivity. But it was that narrative that was really bringing tension into my relationship with writing. It wasn't the fact that I commodified it in the first place. I think we live in a culture that just, money is so dirty, and art that makes money is cheap, that we've sold out. There are so many heavy narratives that artists are just constantly bombarded with that stop us from being successful, that stop us from living fully creative lives. I am so tired of living in a world where most of us have to spend most of our lives doing work that doesn't fulfill us. And I think that was my biggest problem, was I was, waking up each day and being like, oh my God, like, why do I have to spend most of my awake time doing something I hate? And I tried so many different jobs and I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to make things. I didn't want to have to work for these people doing these jobs that I just didn't care about. And I was so angry about this. I was like, how is this system still existing? How have we all agreed to have to work this way? It's so painful, and it is squashing creative people. It is squashing these artists that are here to make such huge impact. And there are ways to get around it. The system is fucked and I fucking hate it, and I'm going to spend all of my days fighting for a better life, especially for creatives, for ways in which creatives can make art and show up in the world in the way they want. But we shouldn't have to be living our lives doing work we fucking hate. And so for me, monetizing my writing was this incredible, beautiful way to create a life that I fucking love. And I really love the life I've made for myself. Every day I wake up and I cannot believe that I get to do this. It is so enchanting. It is so much fun. It is so fulfilling. There is so much purpose. It is so fucking exciting. And yeah, it's been really hard and I've cried a lot and I've doubted myself a lot, and it has forced me to look at some of the most intricate and painful traumatic narratives that I hold, but it has been so expansive and it has asked me to level up and it has asked me to take up space, and I'm so grateful that I chose to go on this journey of making my art a job. I think the last thing I really want to say is obviously like my journey has been privileged, and I think this is often why creatives at the top dispense this advice to not try and be like them, is because of this guilt that they're lucky and that they were an exception to the rule. I have gone on this journey and with so much privilege, with so much support, and that has to be considered when you look at what I've done and the way that I've been able to make money through my writing. But I still don't think it's fair that when these creatives get to the top of their game, they start dispensing advice saying for others not to try and follow them because they only got there because they were really lucky, or because they're only there because they're really privileged. I think it is so patronizing and so demoralizing and so hopeless and cruel to tell others that they're exceptional and they just got away with it and that's why they're there, and you probably shouldn't try because what if you fuck up your relationship to your art? Don't do it. It's not strong enough. Like, that kind of shit just makes me so angry. And I want to be the sort of artist that no matter where this journey takes me, like, I already feel so successful, and so I want to share that success with others. I want other artists to live the life that I'm living, and so I can't think of another way to show up other than to say, let's talk about how we could get this happening for you, because I believe that it's possible. That I believe that even if you don't have the privileges that I have, that there are ways that we can work around this, that we can make this happen so that you can live a life that you fucking love, that you can make the art that you know you want to make. Like, I know you're here for such a beautiful creative purpose, and I want you to fucking get that done. I want the world to see you. I want you to be understood and seen and appreciated for who it is you are as a creative and as a person. And so I'm not going to sit in my space of having created this incredible life of writing and say to you, you probably can't get to where I got to, and also if you try you might ruin your relationship to your art, so don't. It's just, to me, I just can't think of anything more wrong. And so I'm here to say, if you want that, if that calls to you, then I'm so excited for you. Let's get serious about it. Let's start taking yourself seriously. Let's start looking at how you can make impact with your art, make money with your art. Let's just fully fuck up your hobby in the most beautiful, beautiful way, and start creating in service to others and make them fucking pay you. I feel like it's very possible that I've missed some stuff there. Doesn't matter. We can just begin this conversation. If this feels upsetting to you in any way, like, let's talk about it. I know that this is a big conversation, and I think a lot of creatives come off of this conversation thinking, oh, something's wrong with me, like, why haven't I been able to do it? Like, that is not how I want you to feel like after listening to this conversation. I want you to be filled with hope. Like, I'm not saying that this is like a year's job and you've figured it out and you've done it. It's not. I'm 10 years into this journey now. It's taken me a long time, and at times I really was like, holy fucking shit, I'm fucked. Like, it's hard, and it's okay to find it hard, and it's okay that if you failed multiple times at it, I'm still trying to leave you with this message of hope. I still think there are ways for you to live a life where you just feel creatively fulfilled and you get to do what it is that you really want to do. And you don't have to spend all of your time at the behest of someone else's idea of work and doing stuff that doesn't make you shine and sparkle. Okay, my darlings, that will be the first part of a big conversation, I think, but I'm grateful for your presence and I'm grateful for you being here. I'm really grateful for you for supporting this YouTube channel, because I'm big on growing this space right now, and I'm only just a wee little baby on this platform. So if you watch this, I would love you to like and subscribe. Oh my god, I've never had to say that before. Like and subscribe.